Welcome back to Northshire Grows Now. I'm here with Jenny Freeman, and we have two guests today, Amy Gifford and Abbie Nelson, who have both come down from NOFA, Vermont, to help with a training that we're doing at the First Congregational Church for our Northshire school community in Farm to School. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's great to be here.
Great. I was hoping we could start the show off by hearing a little bit about what each of you, what NOFA is, what you both do there, and then if you could explain to our audience what Vermont Feed is.
Sure.
You want to
Would you
start?
like to start?
Sure. So NOFA Vermont is the Northeast Organic Farming Association of Vermont. We're the oldest agricultural organization in the state of Vermont, and we support farmers and growers in their work, creating a community of growers and resources for them. About 14 years ago, NOFA started a collaborative project with Shelburne Farms, another nonprofit in Vermont, and created Vermont Feed, Vermont Food Education Every Day. And what we do is offer farm-to-school services statewide in the 3 C's, cafeteria, classroom, and community.
Right.
And specifically, my job is to support food service staff in the state through professional development and local procurement training. And I also coordinate Junior Iron Chef Vermont.
Excellent, thanks.
So I have been at NOFA Vermont for 16 years. And my role at NOFA, besides supporting farmers and producers, is NOFA also has programs in food access, as well as agricultural education. And so I'm the manager for agricultural education at NOFA, which could mean anything from helping schools make contact with farmers in terms of learning experiences. Also, in my role with Vermont Feed, it's looking at what are the farmers growing that the schools can use, and then in partnership with Amy, how do you use it and how do you present it and prepare it. And so it's a combination of looking at farms as educational experiences and farmers as educators is one piece, and also looking at both the local and regional agricultural economy and how do we support that. And we support it through awareness, like do you know who's in the neighborhood? Do you know what farms are there? Do you know anything about the open landscape? And then everything to what are the learning opportunities on farms, also what are the business opportunities related to farms or on farms. So it's a wide array of things we do at NOFA. And then with food access, we're really have a lot of programming around making local food more accessible to all economic levels. Everything from community-supported agriculture and having shares where lower income people can take advantage or seniors can take advantage, to having SNAP benefits at farmers markets so that families can take advantage of the product that is being sold at farmers markets. So it's, NOFA's got a broad reach. We have a large tent with many pillars in it, and our farm to school piece is a very strong piece in partnership with Shelburne Farms.
Yep. That's super. Could you give us some context as to the Vermont Farm to School movement? How long has it been? I mean, certainly it's gaining speed. I know that Jenny and my work in the Northshire is we're still finding out everyone's got something going, but we're a relatively new area to get mobilized. But could you just talk a little bit about how many schools you've worked with, kind of how you see this program as having developed?
Well, I think, and I'll speak to it since I was around when the waves started coming to Vermont, or tsunami, whichever you want to look at. So in 2000, people were just starting to be thinking about ag education was happening through Ag in the Classroom nationally, and getting kids on farms and gardens in schools and that sort of thing had been moving along. And then thinking about getting the local food into the food system started happening a lot in California, and the Farm to School, the National Farm to School Network got created. At the same time, these three nonprofits, these executive directors, so Shelburne Farms, FoodWorks at Two Rivers Center was a founding partner, and NOFA Vermont were talking about, we're all doing similar things. FoodWorks was doing food access and how to get kids involved in growing and eating the food that they've grown. And NOFA was working on farm viability and ag education, and then Shelburne Farms was working on professional development of teachers with farm-based education. And they knew each other for a long time and said, why don't we do something together? And thus Vermont Feed was born at the same time that the national movement was happening. So as that happened and we started gaining ground, we were doing very in-depth training in various schools for the early 2000s. And then we worked with our state legislature on creating a bill that's called the Rosa McLaughlin Act 145. And what it did was to provide money for technical assistance for schools and the Farm to School grant program. And so by doing that, it started building programs around the state. And those programs got established through this grant program that then became regional programs. And so now we have quite a number of regional programs or farm to school coordinators that work in a district. So that's what's been happening. And we're always stumped when we have to answer how many schools have you influenced. We do so many different things. We have regional workshops we do with School Nutrition Association. We do this course. And you have how many different schools in this course?
We have 10 different schools.
Okay, so
The Farm to School Institute. So.
and the Farm to School Institute. And so can I count those schools as having access to Farm to School, and to what level? If we work with a school and they start buying apples from a local orchard, does that count as a touch point? So Farm to School is a funny thing because it has so many aspects.
Right.
And across the nation, a lot of the Farm to School programs focus on the buying and selling. So it's on the procurement. And so they can count how many schools have done that. The educational piece is kind of, as you know, Jenny, just working on it in this short period of time, is kind of, if someone attends a workshop, does that mean they're new Farm to School people? And how many touch points do you have to have before you can say, yes, we've worked at that school? So I can't answer that question, but I will say.
I think it's safe to say, though, that we've worked within every county in the state in one of our programs or another. For example, we've had representatives from every county participate in Junior Iron Chef. So we know that there are elements of our work that are reaching throughout the state. And some schools and some districts and some counties we work with more intensively, either because of funding opportunities or because we've been approached to provide trainings like what's happening here.
So before we get to what we're going to be doing later today, Jenny and I had the opportunity to go to the New England Farm to School Institute in June, and we were very impressed with the fact that obviously the strength of all of the work that you guys are doing is such that it's not just open to Vermont schools anymore, correct?
Right.
There was a team, I remember, from Maine, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, and New York State.
So this was our first foray into the New England realm, and this was our fourth institute.
I think so, yeah.
This was the fourth institute, so we've been doing it for a little while with schools in the state, and there's an application process, and we select schools who have well-developed teams to come to Shelburne Farms for a 3-day summer intensive, and then we provide a year-long, what we're calling an institute, year-long coaching, where one of our experts in the state is attached to a team and provides support throughout the course of the year. And USDA and National Farm to School took note of our institute and are interested in replicating the model elsewhere in the country. And so we received funding to invite New England schools to participate and learn about our model. And having regional programs, representatives from regional programs in those states also attend as those teams' coaches so that they could learn the process and potentially replicate it elsewhere. So it's an exciting opportunity for us
Yeah,
to show off
absolutely.
what we do here.
Right, that's great.
Well, we had someone from Wisconsin and someone from Georgia.
that's
We
right.
did. We
That's
had
right.
Yeah.
other folks coming in to see,
Yeah.
to spy on what we're doing.
Right.
So before we talk a little bit about what you're here to talk to our 17 training attendees, I was wondering, Jenny, if you could just fill us in a little bit about how this course is going. This is our first course that we're running this fall.
Yep. Yep. So we have 17 students attending, or teachers for professional development, really. And each course has been designated to a different component of Farm to School and helping people see what part of the bigger picture they can be. And so in our first class, we had someone join us from Raffle in Rutland, Rutland area Food and Farm Link. And then also we have someone from Food Connects scheduling to come see us. And then we also had, in our next class, Nora Horton from Hunger Free Vermont, who I think got to speak with you, and really shared detailed information for each school about what their food program could look like and understanding the numbers and enrollment.
Right.
We then had Libby Weiland from Vermont Community Garden Network, and people really enjoyed seeing what she had to share from different school gardens around the state and understanding how they could implement different ideas, whether in their garden or in their classroom. And then today we have Abbie and Amy joining us, which
Right.
will bring in another element of Farm to School, and we'll finish off with 2 more classes in November.
And the 2 classes in November are
One
What
is
is it about?
based on curriculum,
Right.
and we have a teacher from Sharon Elementary who really is a guru in the state coming down to talk with our class. And then our last one will have Allie Zaparo from the Agency of Ag, and also Vermont Bean Crafters coming for a fun
Right.
celebratory event. So it's a fun course to be a part
Yeah,
of.
that's super.
Yep.
So would you 2 ladies like to share with us a little bit about what you're going to be talking to our class about this afternoon?
Sure.
Do you want to do it in the way that we planned it? You talk in the beginning.
Sure. So the first part of the class will be focusing on taste tests and the value of taste tests, and the idea of getting kids interested in trying new foods and becoming a school that does try new foods, and how do you nurture that culture within your school. So we'll talk a little bit about the nuts and bolts of running school-wide taste tests, classroom taste tests, cafeteria taste tests, getting kids involved, pulling in local produce and farmers, and really creating a robust taste testing program at a school. So we'll start with that.
And how do taste tests work? Are they in the classroom? Are they in the cafeteria? Are they in the library?
Depends on the school. It depends on the school. A lot of schools do it through the cafeteria, and I like those because they return the cafeteria to a role that I think they should play, which is the largest classroom in the
Sure.
school. So it creates an environment there where the kids are, yes, social and enjoying their food, but also learning and expanding their palates, and creating an environment that they can trust what happens in there, so that they're willing to explore new foods. But there are other classroom teachers that really enjoy cooking with students and having taste tests in the classroom. There's the fresh fruit and vegetable program, which is linked to taste testing in the classroom, and there's really no prescribed method. We like to engage any adults that are interested in getting kids to try new food. So.
Super.
And it isn't, I mean, the thing that Amy and I keep repeating is that it isn't about the food. It's about the habit of trying foods. And so it really doesn't matter. And of course, we want to promote the local products, but it doesn't really matter in the end what the product is. It's the behavior of how do you take the risk of trying new food? What do you
Right.
need to know about it in order to try it? And,
Curiosity.
and building the curiosity and just helping people develop the idea that, yeah, I try new foods. I don't have to like them. It's not about only eating foods that you're always going to like.
Right.
And just as important alongside that is building buy-in for students. So that's one of the biggest pieces that gets them to try new foods is there's so much in the day, in the school day, that's dictated for them, that this is an opportunity for them to say, I really liked that, or I really didn't like it,
Yep.
and voice their opinion and have it be part of the menu or not, and to really be part of that decision-making process. And that goes a long way to helping them feel part of their relationship with food and to feel like an active member of that relationship. So.
Great.
So the other part, there's two more parts, and one is going to be
Today's
school
class.
food, for today's class, School Food Jeopardy,
Ooh.
based on the history and facts about school
We
meals.
gave a little homework to your participants.
Excellent.
Yes,
Nice.
indeed.
We're gonna
For
quiz them.
instance, do you know when the national school lunch program started?
1958.
So we have everything from 1942 to 1946, depending on when you consider starting, and it was
Not bad.
due
Not
to the armed forces recruits being malnourished.
There you go.
And so the armed services said, we got to do something about this.
Right.
It's also, the purpose of it was to, and the reason it's administered through the USDA is because it is assigned to be recipients, the school meal program recipients of surplus agricultural product. So historically, that's what it's been. And so that's why USDA holds on to it. And then the third part of our show is it's around looking at what local is that people have local programs or they have farm to school programs, but it's a proxy for other values. And what are those values that people hold near and dear that makes them even want to engage in the idea of farm to school or buying local? And so we look at what's driving you to do these things and what will help you do more of these things, which is buying local, serving local, preparing, whatever. And I don't know if you want to add more to that.
No, I think that covers.
Yeah.
So it's the idea of introducing values and to
Right.
really identify those values and to be thoughtful about it. So we're not doing anything new. We're just sort of organizing, helping schools and districts organize those thoughts around what they value so that it guides their future purchasing and educational programming
Right.
and et cetera.
Right. We were talking earlier today about some courses that you're in the process of designing right now around nutrition that you will be perhaps bringing to Southern Vermont in 2016.
Oh, the regional workshops,
Yep.
yeah.
Could you share a little bit about that?
Sure. So we
Because these, as I understand it, will be open to everyone, and not just to the school communities.
Right, so they're intended for food service professionals, professional development for food service professionals. And what we're really trying to focus on with that series is building the profession of school food and helping food service professionals as well as the school and greater community recognizing themselves and those professionals and as educators and as playing an important role in the education of children. So what we're really trying to do is raise the confidence that they feel in their role and their self-efficacy, their ability, how they feel they're able to do their job, and to also feel empowered to create change in their school food programs. And the way we do that is by providing these workshops, and they're on a range of topics, everything from knife skills to reducing sodium in school meals. Based on the USDA guidelines, we're trying to help school meal programs meet those requirements by providing them with the tools and the knowledge that they need. And we partner with the New England Culinary Institute and the School Nutrition Association of Vermont to offer those workshops. And it's an opportunity for them to receive professional accreditation for their class time.
Right.
And it'll be, it's geared towards anybody who's cooking for numbers of people at once. So cafeteria style, which could be preschools, could be senior
Hotels,
cares.
senior centers,
It will,
hospitals.
yeah,
Yep.
it's who wants to come and get some professional
Right.
development with the understanding that our focus is schools and building that profession.
Wonderful. Well, thank you both so much
Yeah,
for
well,
coming
thank
and
you.
sharing
Thanks
a
for
little bit
having
about
us.
what you do and why you do it. And we're just thrilled that you're here.
Glad to be
Yeah.
And we will see you soon.
Thank you so much.